Back to the Aromatic Mystery School. I'm Elizabeth Ashley, the Secret Healer, and this is Luminous Bodies. So this is the mental body. So the third etheric body. So just doing a quick map, we've got the physical body, electromagnetic field, first etheric body, which is your physical body as well, the map of it. Second is will, and then we're out to third etheric body. And this is really the place of the thoughts and thinking and memory. So just to do a quick overview of the session, so we have our core teaching in this section. In the dowsing, we'll learn to dowse the etheric body, the third etheric body, and looking at different patterns, which as we'll go through the core teaching, you'll start to understand our spirals and thought forms. We'll talk about what thought forms are in the first section. So we'll do that dowsing. And then we'll do a little bit of a talk about the mystic who is Julian of Norwich, who was what's called an anchorite. You may remember that Hildegard of Bingen was an anchorite, locked away for many years. And this was through choice, after some visions. And I can tell you that our luminescence is very straightforward. After all her visions, she says, all will be well. And we will look at the effects of all will be well on our thought processes, on what our etheric body looks like after that. So the mental body, as I say, third layer of the aura, and it is where thoughts take shape. So we'll be looking at Mum's work, but I want to start by telling you a little bit about Helena Blavatsky's work. So Madame Blavatsky was a 19th century mystic and theosopher, and she did a lot of work on the aura, and hers was very much based on what she knew from the Eastern traditions, from Hinduism and from Buddhism, for example. And she made a really useful observation that I always sort of hold as forethought. She says that the mind is the result of past thinking, and it's constantly being modified by present thinking, which seems like it's obvious, but I think it really tells a story of the mental body. So incidentally, the overarching colour of the mental body is yellow. And what we'll see within the architecture is changes through time of things that have become like fixed thinking, for example. And I'll tell you an interesting story about the fixed thinking in a minute, but also learning. And Rudolf Steiner talks about how it's the place where language lives, and it's a place where we learn patterns. So through practice, for example. So practical thinking, all of those things exist within the mental body. So it's a thought of reason, of linear thought, grammar, logic. All of those things sit in this third body, but it's important to remember that this isn't necessarily a storage repository of as such. It's vibration. So this layer isn't fixed. As I say, it has this yellow hue, and thinking will change it. And we'll talk a little bit more, it'll become easier in the next section to understand. But if you think about when you're making a decision, all of the aspects that go into making a decision, quite often they're not all mental processes, are they? So sometimes you'll make a decision based on how do I feel about it. So it has to be able to reach through into the emotional body, for example, or it has to be able to reach down into the body of ambition And this is something that seems to be different with this body than others, in that it seems to be able to stretch through, reach through into other bodies to filter information back and forth. So that's really interesting. I think this is the most interesting body of them all.